This is a beautiful fabric sent to me by a customer, and you can see where I've seamed this. You can actually see, let me show you. Sorry. See, this fabric was seamed. So that's the back side with a 1/2 inch seam pressed open, and there is the front. And so this will look beautiful on the back of this quilt. So in the rest of this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is find a pattern that you're going to want to use toward seaming, right? So you get your one side, you find something on one side that you can easily follow the whole length of your piece of fabric, in this case almost about 80 inches long. So one of the things I like in here, well, for instance, you could use the top of this mushroom, the very point of that mushroom, and to the point of that mushroom, to the point of that mushroom, and you know, your fabric that way. I'm going to choose to use this overlap where these lines here, where these lines cross over right there, okay? Because it's an easy place where I can find that point all the way down and make a nice straight line all the way down the length of the fabric. So I'm going to find the first two pieces, pinch it right there, so that I've got that, pinch there, and I'm going to lay it flat, no wrinkles, lay it flat right there, press from there to there, okay? Then I've got that pressed. I'm going to hold on to that point. Oops, sorry. Move my camera. From that point, find my next, pinch it there, get it nice and flat. Straighten this out a little bit so I can get nice and flat from there to there. Finger press and press from there to there. I want a nice, crisp corner there, okay? So you're going to do that for the whole length. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then once I have the whole length pressed like that from point to point, I will be back and we'll do the next step. All right, thank you. Okay, everybody, so we're back. So I have pressed this side on that line all the way up the length of the fabric, right? So there we are, pressed all the way up. And now we're going to match this side to this side. So there's our little mushroom, there's a little mushroom. Now we could, okay, yeah. So find the closest repeat to your edge so you don't have that much waste. So we have a mushroom here, and we're going to match that like that. A little bit there. There's a perfect match there. And then there's a perfect match there. And then we can go up and match this, and then that should match right there. So this is why I say pick a point that you can match easily all the way up, and then the rest, the in-between stuff, should just fall in line. So once you have that, grab a glue stick. I buy them en masse, like this. Elmer's glue sticks. You can use that. you can use one of these. It's a Roxanne glue based it. It doesn't matter what you use as long as what you're going to what you'll be using is temporary. That is the important thing, okay? Temporary, not permanent. I like these. So take the cap off, shit over, put on a nice dose. This thing shows up purple, which you can't see on the screen, but the purple goes away, and even on white fabric, that purple will be gone. It washes away. Line up your lines, and looky there. A little too close there. But this is why I say use the glue so that you can get the best fit possible. Okay, and then just work your way up. Grab another section, fold it back, put a nice wide, in this case you got lots of room, you got all of this. So put a nice wide strip of glue down, straighten out your fabric, find your next point that you want to match. Again, make sure your fabric's laying flat, and then just press it down. And now this glue you can hit with an iron to make it stick a little bit better. Hold on here. I got too much plugged in. Alright, so we're just gonna, I'm gonna use a pressing sheet just because this is a customer's fabric. So if in doubt, use a pressing sheet, and there you go. So you're gonna do this, see how that now doesn't move? Okay, so you're gonna do this all the way down, and just to give my end piece here a little bit of reinforcing, I'm gonna put a pin in it. So, because as I'm moving the rest of this, so I'm gonna leave you for a moment. I'm going to glue this down the whole rest of the way up, and then I'll be back. So I have glued it. I pinned the end. I'm going to take that pin out, and we're going to flip this baby over. And can you see that pressing line right there? That's the line we're going to sew on, okay? And just to make sure that that glue holds, I'm going to put pins in all the way down, well away from my presser foot. And I'm going to put them on both sides. Here. Straighten that out real good. I just don't want to have to do this again. I know where it is perfect. And as long as that fabric lays flat, you're going to be in good shape. So don't let there be any extra fabric in there. Okay, because see, this is holding. Don't tear this apart yet. But see, this is holding on to itself. So I'm going to pin this on both sides, well away from my presser foot, and then I'm going to sew a stitch line all the way down, staying as nicely on this line. And this little doohickey here, this is what we were going for. That's what I'm going to aim for as I'm sewing along. I'm going to try and end up right there every single time. So, okay, so right there, every single time, okay? Straight down. So I'm gonna go away for a minute, pin it, sew it, and I will be back. This is the bottom of my foot. See, there's my pins. There. I just barely got that. So you're gonna lay that flat. I'm gonna get everything nice and flat. And then we're gonna sew right down this line. Okay? Alright. Awesome. Anyway, alright, so you can see the stitching there. I went right down and I crossed every one of my points there that I was aiming for, okay? So I'm gonna take the pins out and we'll flip this baby open and see what we got. Okay, the big reveal. So we're gonna flip this back. Look at that. How cool is that? It's not perfect, but once you get this puppy quilted, that looks nice. That to me is totally acceptable. What do you think? Alright, so now, look at that. Check that out. There is your seam. Pretty decent, huh? Look at that. Okay, so one more thing you gotta do. So let me put this down and we'll flip this baby back. Since that's now secure, it's already been pressed. So now the last thing we gotta do is trim this right here. Okay, we gotta trim off this excess fabric. So you can use scissors, you can use a rotary cutter. For a long arm, you wanna leave a 1/2 inch. Don't do a 1/4 inch seam, do a 1/2 inch seam and press it open. That extra length of the seam will give the back more strength. Anytime you have something pressed open, you want a little bit, it's good on the back to have a little bit more. So let me go do that. We'll press it open and then we'll come back for one last time and we'll be done. Okay, so I've trimmed it. Now I am opening this seam and see here, it doesn't quite want to open. So because of the glue, we'll get there. Because of the glue, you're gonna have to play with this. See how it's just not. Alright, so I'm pulling this apart because I'm gonna press it open. Now for that, so I'm going to press it open all the way down, and then I'm going to use my pressing sheet because I don't want to get glue all over my iron. Okay, the glue will wash off the fabric, but I don't want to get glue all over the iron. So but see, it's so there you go. Do the rest of it all the way down, and see, even your back matches. It's so cool. So I'm gonna open up the rest of this, and then I'll be back. Okay, last time. Check out that beauty. Can you tell where it was seamed? Can you tell? Alright, so it's not going to be perfect everywhere, like there's a little bobble, but there it isn't, okay, and you know, so it won't be perfect, but I'll tell you what, once this baby is quilted, nobody's going to notice that this baby was seamed. So there you go. Have fun, enjoy. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.